Well, good day, good day. It's so nice to see you again. I hope you've enjoyed this past week. I don't know what's happening in your world, but things have been fairly good here, and I've had a rather nice week. As you can see today, you've caught me in the office, and I won't keep you too long because I do have business to transact, but nice to have you with us again. Now, just a few things to cover. Being indoors and in a formal office setting, how you greet one who comes into your office. As you see, I'm not wearing a hat, so I can't bid you adieu by tipping my hat to you. So what I would do is say welcome and give you a slight bow and offer you my hand. And we would shake hands formally. And if you are a person that I already know and am acquainted with and am on good terms with, not only would I shake your hand, but then as I'm holding your hand, I would put my other hand over top. It's a sign of familiarity and sort of a warm gesture that I am sincere in welcoming you. I would then walk over to my desk, if that's where we're going to transact whatever business you've come for, and invite you to take a seat and wait until you are seated before I sit down. What would be terribly impolite would say, come in, and walk over and sit down behind my desk and kind of wave at the chairs in front of my desk, indicating that you should have a seat. No, that is poor manners. I would invite you to be seated first to make sure you're comfortable. I might offer you a drink. Would you like some coffee or tea? Or if it's later in the day, I might offer you a sherry or a scotch or some type of drink like that. A part of it would depend on the type of business we're transacting and whether it would be appropriate to do such a thing. Now, a part of my office that you can't see from where I'm standing, there's a small grouping with a settee and a couple of wingback chairs and a nice table. And if our business is less formal, I might invite you to come sit over there. But once again, I would wait until you are seated before I take a seat myself. The other polite thing to do before jumping into the business is to exchange pleasantries. So I might ask you, if I know you well enough, how are the family, and what has your wife been up to lately, and are the children doing well in school, and things like that. Or if you are not married and I know you and you're a gentleman of business, I might say, and how is your business going these days? Are some of the economic factors having any effect on your business or trade? But anyway, just some nice pleasantries. It's very incorrect and impolite to, as soon as you sit down, say, now, on the matter we're here about today, let's get right to it. No. That's a bit brisk. It's just rude. It's just not what people expect. People like to be made to feel welcome and like you care about them. That your interest in them is more than just whatever business you have with them or financial transaction you have to do with them. They like to know you care. And so by all means, once they're seated comfortably and exchange some pleasantries. And then you can say, well, I'm sure your time is valuable to you as mine is to me, and so let's talk about this matter before us, and then you can move into your business. And after things are concluded, you should stand up first and come around the desk and offer your hand to the person who is seated, and they will take it, and you can, in a sense, while shaking their hand, help them up, especially if it's a lady. It's just a polite thing to do to offer your hand to help her to stand from the chair. Not because you think she's incapable of standing on her own, but again, it's that thing of showing her some respect and honor and showing her that you do care about her and don't want her falling over her dresses or tripping over the chair leg or whatever. It's just a polite thing. And then, if it's a lady, you might offer her your arm as you walk from the chairs to the door. And at the door, you can exchange pleasantries, thank them for coming, whether it's a man or a woman, you thank them for coming, and that it was a pleasure to see them, and hope you can continue doing business with them and might see them again in the future. Or perhaps you might invite them to come for supper one evening, or whatever it might be. But again, you would shake hands, and as I say, once again, if you know them well, you might place your left hand over top of the hands as you shake, as that sign of familiarity and warmth, and a slight bow again as they leave. Now, it would be polite to you open the door of your office for them, and as they walk out, you bid them adieu once more and wait until you see them out of the outer office. Now, if they're at an office in your home, you would escort them to the front door. The worst thing you can do is the moment they're out of your offices, shut your office door and go back to your desk, because that's just saying, "Phew, that's over with, I'm glad they're out of my hair, good day." And even though it's a slight thing and it doesn't seem like much, just shutting that door like that, just no, it's kind of like giving them a little push on the in the middle of the back to kind of, out you go and off you go. No, you want to be polite. You want to make that person feel like for that time that they are there with you, they are the most important thing going on in your life at that time. Now, granted, that may not be the truth, but you want them to feel that way. And you don't want to feel like you're rushing them through whatever's going on and rushing them out the door. And, yes, you may have another appointment coming up. And if your time is getting slim, let's say you have a 2 o'clock appointment and it's now 1:50, you might say, well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to conclude this business at the moment. I do have another appointment at 2 o'clock. Is there a time that we could meet again to finalize this? Again, don't make them feel rushed. Don't say, well, I have a 2 o'clock appointment, so we've got to wrap this up right now. No, you don't want them to feel like you're railroading them through whatever it is you're doing. You want them to feel relaxed and like you're giving them the time to think about what they're doing and what you're doing. And so if they say, oh, no, let's finish it up now while I'm here, not much left to do, let's just wrap it up, well, then that is their decision. And if they later say, well, I felt like that deal was a bit rushed, you can say, well, I did offer to meet with you at a different time to finalize it so you'd have a little more time to think about it. It was you that pushed the issue, if you wanted to go to that extreme, but you see the difference. You want people to feel welcome and feel like they have some control over what's going on, not that you are there dictating times, dictating process, dictating everything that takes place. No, especially if it's a mutually beneficial arrangement that's being worked on, both parties should feel like they have some ownership of it. And if you become that kind of take charge person in that moment because it's your office, the other person can feel like you have kind of pushed them to the margins and are not giving them equal opportunity in this supposedly equal endeavor. So be gracious, be a good host, almost like you are entertaining them socially. Even though this is a business meeting, you want to make them feel welcome, feel comfortable, and feel at ease. You do not want them to feel pressured. You do not want them to feel uneasy or like you are rushing them through whatever is going on. So I hope you will remember these small details. They can make a huge difference in business transactions and sometimes even in just a personal endeavor. Perhaps they've come to ask your advice on a good garden, or they're thinking about buying a new carriage and have admired yours and would like to know more about it and who made it and whatever. But whatever the case may be, always put your guests, whether they be social or business guests, at ease and make them feel welcome and that you care about them and they are important to you. Well, until next Friday when we shall meet again and discuss more things in the life of a Victorian gentleman, I hope you will take these things to heart, and I hope you have a lovely weekend and a beautiful week next week. Until then, I bid you adieu.